Well, gents, I finally got around to getting my Dana 300 like I've been talking about for weeks now. I had to take an hour drive, come up, meet my buddy Donnie. He came over from Salt Spring Island and dropped her off for me. These things are becoming hard to find on the island here, so stoked on it. She's a real greasy girl, ain't she? I even got the tail shaft from whatever tranny it was on, but she looks mint. I don't know. I can work with that. Makes me wish I had a pressure washer or a parts tank, but it's looking good. So we're gonna make a stop by Backdoor Fab on the way here. I got to drop him off some shirts and some decals and get another plate and then head southwards. So it's gonna be good. Stoked on this. Mint. And it's finally time to tear into my new Dana 300. Just tidied up the shop a little bit because it's a disaster. Yeah, this is tidy. But I just pulled the drain on this and actually was pleasantly surprised how good the fluid looks in there. So that's encouraging because it could have looked like death and not look too bad. So we're gonna let this drain and throw her up on the bench, start taking stuff apart. I don't know how old this case is. I didn't ask. I don't know if Donnie even knew. Doesn't really matter because they're damn near all the same. There's 1 year Dana 300 different, which was the very first one I ended up with. They call it the Texas bolt pattern, and one of the bolts on this side is in a different location, which means my 32 spline output would not go on there because they don't make one for a 32 spline output. Woo! Well, that's not the best news. There's a nice big pile of metal shavings on the magnet, which isn't the best, but so all things considered, sure looks pretty good to me. Let's see if we can put her in here. Oh yeah, and for those of you who thinking about Dana 300s or put them in your rig, you can see right here why they are really hard to shift, because they're essentially square tooth gears. They got a little bit of a chamfer on them, but if they're not lined up perfect, you end up fighting them, so you're always kind of jamming them. Sometimes you got to kind of take the pressure off a little bit when you got it in your rig. Just put it in gear a little bit to get it to pop in and out, because it doesn't exactly like to slide in sometimes. I believe it's a 28 spline or 26 spline on either end, and my stuff is 32 splines. It's the same size as a 205. Those pieces aren't cheap. Got them from JB Conversions, almost 400 bucks US a piece. But one time I went out, I busted this end. Other time I went out, busted that end. Now I'm into splitting main gears, shearing all these teeth off. But I got a new cover. I got that new mount. Hopefully it's going to hold this whole thing together a little bit better. So let's see if we can jam something in here, and we'll get this pinion nut off, get that stuff out of the way, and then I will actually get into dismantling the case itself. You got to pull this main pin out, and actually comes apart really easy. So thankfully, I don't know if it's thankfully or not, but I've done this oh, lots of times. I think this is my 5th time diving into one of these, so I'm not naive enough to think it's going to be the last. That's an important bolt. Now you get this little very high-tech secure system here. This little square thing goes into this square little notch on this pin. Hopefully this is in the camera view here. Might not be. So yeah, you pull this little bad boy out of here, and now I got to tap this out. That drives the main gear out, and then I can lift this out. Then I'll take off the two shift fork collars and use the puller to pop that off, and I got a bare case. So I'm using a brass drift just so I don't scar it. Doesn't really matter. There it is. Now this main gear is going to fall down. Pin, it's a keeper. Hello?
How are you? I just dropped a package off at the door for you.
Thank you so much.
No problem. Have a good weekend.
That's the mailman, and I do believe that's my new GoPro Hero 5. Just came, sent it back for service because the audio was all messed up. So, awesome. I'm going to have to go grab that in a sec. But, yeah. Let's lift this bastard out of here. Even some of you might recognize this. I have one of these on my desk, all smashed to hell. So it's got a spacer on either. It's got a spacer and roller bearings all the way in. They're real fun because they're just loose, so you got to put some heavy lube on them and have them in there. And there's one of these on either end, bigger, thicker one in the middle, and then one of these on either outside of that. So now I can access it all. Find another rag here. Give you another peek in there. So you can see main gear, washer on either side. There's all my needle bearings. So that just slid right out of there. So now I got my shift fork. 1, 2, you can see the set screws. So I loosen those up, and then I can slide this whole assembly off, puller right on here, and then we'll be able to clean up the case and start looking at putting the other outputs back in this one. Another thing that's super important, I found when you're running a flipped case, you're running upside down. So these normally are just full of air because it's sitting this way when it's in the rig, which is upside down from stock. These are normally full of air. You end up getting them full of fluid and you blow them out. So I actually JB welded my two on there, which definitely helped. You're gonna want to do that if you're running a flipped case. But let's get these apart. It's fully disassembled and cleaned up. There we go. Okay. Shift rails. I'm not gonna use these. I'm gonna reuse those ones. I will. You'll see them when I take them apart. There's a couple of detents in here, balls, and you got to grind one out. There's lots of stuff on YouTube or the internet that will show you exactly how. Because I don't remember. I have a printout here somewhere because I just followed somebody else's instructions. $100 at the store later, and I got a new T27, which was only a quarter drive. So hopefully I don't break my second one because that'd be a real drag. Nobody, so I had to go to 3 different places. Nobody had a 3/8 drive 27. I also picked up a proper 3-jaw 6-inch. I only need a 5-inch, but my choices were 4 or 6. Shaft. Brand new $10, jet, and I spun the threads. And try to fucking drill this out. I got that one I can use. I just need to get this thing off, so. Here we go. Well, best part is I get to do it all over again on another case, my broken case, which maybe I should have taken apart first, huh? Because I've got so much room in here for my workbench area. Living the dream. Living the dream. Well, guys, bad news. Me editing this video to not make myself look like an idiot. Figured I'd actually explain what's going on here and the bonehead move that I made with my Dana 300. I bought another case. Unfortunately, they're rare. They're an oddball. There was, I believe, only 1 year where they made them, and you can see the speedo is slightly different, so this one output bolt is different. This plate here is for a standard Dana 300. Everything else on the case is completely identical. You can actually see here, here's the size of this is the rear output shaft, stock one, and you can see the size of the speedo, and here is a regular one. The size of the speedo is slightly different. Bunch of stuff going on, but either way, everything else is identical on this case except for this hole. I could modify this plate, wouldn't really be the end of the world with the sparkle machine. Weld the piece in, new hole. Problem is my nice big JB Conversions rear output 32 spline is only made for the regular output, not for the Texas bolt pattern. So I cannot put this on that case, which means that case right there is a boat anchor. The real frustrating thing about all of that is if you look down here, the very first Dana 300 I ever bought ran for quite a while. It was a good case, except I broke that rear output. And when I bought the new output, took it all apart, got the case at this point, grabbed my new output, lined it up, boom. That was a lesson in Dana 300s right there. So this one, I was having a real hard time finding a case. This one my buddy Donnie had, so I picked it up. Should have looked at it closer, I guess. Figured, oh, there's no way in hell I'm going to end up with another Texas bolt pattern Dana 300, but guess I have. That's a $300 case. I'm going to have to either find another complete case or another empty case. And my shop is all torn apart with this stuff, so that's a shitty day at the Pathmaker production shop, but you win some, you lose some. If anybody needs a Texas bolt pattern Dana 300, I got a couple of them. Let me know. Otherwise, one of those days in paradise.